This is a very quick live, but I think we need to have a discussion. So all who can join me, please come on over. Like I said, it's a very long live. Hi Opal, hi sweetheart. But we need to have a discussion, and I'm going to start the discussion tonight, and I will continue with it on Sunday. Hi everybody. Hi YouTube. Hi Lorna. Bless up my sister. Jamaicans. We need to have a conversation because I don't think a lot of Jamaicans are aware of what is going on. Now, I am going to backtrack, and like I said, I will continue this conversation on Sunday. But I think we need to open the doors to this conversation. In 2017, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, made a trip to Israel. When he went to Israel, he promised Benjamin, and those of you who know me and those of you who have been following my page would have been seeing that I have been talking about this since 2017 leading up to now. In 2017, the Prime Minister of Jamaica made a visit to Israel. He did not tell Jamaicans anything about what that trip was about. Now, while he was in Israel, the Prime Minister of Jamaica made a promise to Benjamin Netanyahu that he would grant asylum to over 300 Israelis who were already living in Jamaica. Now, those of you who follow my page would remember that I have been asking where in Jamaica were these 300 Israelis at? How did they get into Jamaica? By what channel did they enter Jamaica, etc., etc., etc.? Now, I think it was the year before or the following year, Juliet Holness, the wife of the Prime Minister, who was then in her capacity as just a simple member of parliament, made a trip to this country, America, to attend a workshop on cybercrime and cybersecurity. Now, again, those of you who follow my page and those of you who remember, I asked the question, in what capacity was it necessary for Juliet Holness to be present at a workshop that was geared towards cybercrime and cybersecurity? Wanna follow me? That same year, in December of 2017, this is 11 months after the Prime Minister went to Israel. Bobby Montague, who was then yes, Opal, it wasn't yes, it was a trip, but she was present at a cybercrime workshop that was held here in the United States of America. And good night, Stephanie. And I asked the question, what reason would a regular member of parliament, she was not Minister of National Security, she had nothing to do with Jamaica's national security, why would she be present at a cybercrime workshop? In December of 2017, Bobby Montague, who was then Minister of National Security, came out and said that Jamaica was going to grant asylum to between 15,000 to 30,000 illegal immigrants that were in Jamaica. Those of you, if you remember, I asked the question, where did those illegal immigrants come from? where in Jamaica were they situated? And let us not make the mistake and say that those illegal immigrants were Haitians, because we all know that when the Haitians come here, they send them back. So who were those illegal immigrants that Bobby Montague, then Minister of National Security, came out and said that Jamaica was going to grant asylum to 15,000, between 15,000 to 30,000 illegal immigrants? Fast forward, we have heard the Prime Minister, and before I even get there, I asked the question. Back in 2017, I asked the question, are there any Israeli operatives at the Jamaica Defense Force headquarters? I asked that question. One of the things that was shocking about the visit of the Prime Minister to Israel, when he came back from that visit, he was questioned in Parliament about what the visit to Israel was about. And the Prime Minister of Jamaica said he could not divulge that information because it had to do with matters of national security. Now, what matters of national security could the Prime Minister of Jamaica be involved with a country that even the opposition PMP could not get any information on? Okay? All right. Now, the Prime Minister has made several talks about building a smart city. Yeah? Now, he made mention of one parish. Wanna follow me, because there is something that is coming towards Jamaica, and you see a lot of you Jamaicans who are not cognizant of your political history, you are doomed, right? Because you see, in order to know where you are going, you have to know where you are coming from. Let me backtrack a little bit. During the Siaga regime, and I'm going to show you all of this is tying up together. During the Siaga regime, Edward Siaga had a project called Spring Plains. Now, according to Mr. Siaga, that project was a project where Jamaica would develop winter vegetables to export to other countries. What many Jamaicans were not aware of, Spring Plains, that project, was a project that saw the then Prime Minister of Jamaica, Edward Philip George Siaga, involved with one of the biggest mobsters out of Israel known as Eli Tisonai. Right? That Spring Plain project is the project that saw guns, ammunition, and drugs entering Jamaica with the help of Edward Siaga, Eli Tisonai, and the CIA. Okay? I keep saying to Jamaicans, go and educate yourselves about your political history. Because when you educate yourselves about your political history, you will understand what is taking place now. Jamaica is once again in an unholy alliance with Israel. Okay? Are Jamaicans aware that Israeli operatives have been training members of the Jamaica Defense Force? No. I bet a lot of Jamaicans don't know that. Right? Now, the Prime Minister of Jamaica has said that he wants to build a smart city. Now, the area, like I said, I will go more into this on Sunday, but I am doing this tonight so that those of you who have the brain cells to think can begin thinking. Yes, Opal, that is true. They don't vote on critical policies and issues because they don't know how to do that, because they are being brainwashed, and them only listen to X, Y, and Z. I have said it many times. I was one of the biggest supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party, and when I found out that the Jamaica Labour Party was responsible for the genocides of thousands of Jamaicans, I said never again. Right? Now, the Prime Minister of Jamaica has decided that he wants to build a smart city. Now, he has come out and said one of the parishes where he wants the smart city is in St. Elizabeth. I am here to tell you that the other parish is Trelawney. Now, what is the significance of St. Elizabeth and Trelawney? Those are that's the cockpit country. Those lands belong to the Maroons. Okay? Now ask yourself this question: why would the Prime Minister of Jamaica decide to build another city in an area that significantly belongs to the ancestors, to the ancestors and the children of the ancestors who were runaway slaves? Why? What is going on? There is something that is taking place in Jamaica, and Jamaicans, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. What is coming towards Jamaica is going to be 100 times worse than when Edward Philip George Siaga was Prime Minister of Jamaica. All right? There is an effort to further destabilize Jamaica, but you know the worst part of this is that it is not the Americans that Jamaicans need to be afraid of now. It is the Israelis, right? This gentleman oh my God. I will remember on Sunday. Hi, Dwayne. I will remember on Sunday and tell it to you. This Indian gentleman, what his name, David or whatever, I don't remember what his name is now. He gained citizenship in Jamaica, right? Of significance is the fact that at the time when Andrew Holness was in Israel, the Prime Minister of India was also in Israel at the same time. Now, what was that meeting all about? Jamaicans, we are in an era where we have access to information. Go and educate yourselves. There is a dark cloud that is hanging over Jamaica. If you all notice, ever since Hurricane Melissa hit Jamaica, one of the things I heard last night, I was listening to Andre, and I heard Andre say that the Jamaican government is giving those charities that are in Jamaica from overseas, assisting the people who need help a certain time to leave Jamaica. Now, let it make sense. All of this, everything that is going on is tied in, and it's tied in where there was a time I saw an idiot yesterday on the birthday of the Honorable Michael Manley saying that Michael Manley was the one that married food. And I laugh because the illiteracy of some of you Jamaicans in this era when information is readily available, Margaret, is speaking volumes. Yeah? Andrew Holness was trained by Edward Siaga. All right? And Andrew Holness is a force that is 1,000,000 times worse than Edward Siaga. Yeah? Jamaicans on the need for wake up. What is the interest that the Jamaican government and the Israelis have in the cockpit country. Why is it necessary at this time for the Prime Minister to want to build a smart city, and that smart city is going to be in the cockpit country? These are questions on a need for ask on yourself. I saw some maroons, and you know what the problem is with a lot of us black people? We are easily bought. And that is why and how slavery existed. Because I saw some maroons last week come out and cursing Mark Golden, cursing Chief Curry, and I'm saying to myself, the illiteracy of you people is speaking volumes to the point where it is nauseating. Jamaicans only need to understand on political history. The political history that shaped us under Edward Philip George Siaga, why we remain as a third world country today, is the same political history that is going to push us over the cliff, because history is repeating itself drastically and too many of us refuse to see. I also think it is high time for the People's National Party to get a backbone and stand up for the people. Now, I brought up Juliet's Wholeness visit to this cybercrime workshop for one reason. Where does Juliet Wholeness sit today? She sits as the Speaker of the House. How many times have we seen her behavior as Speaker of the House, where she tries to silence members of the opposition? She has been trained, well trained. And Jamaicans need to start demanding from the Mr. Golden and members of the People's National Party. I find it very disheartening that you all have not demanded an answer from Andrew Holness about exactly what his visit to Israel was about. Because if it has to do with national security, granted the citizens might not be able to hear certain things, but it is imperative that the opposition party in Jamaica knows exactly what is going on. How can we have a prime minister, a leader, saying to the opposition party that also governs the country, saying to the opposition party, I cannot tell you what my visit to Israel is about because it has matters to do with national security? What kind of national security? They are very complacent, Opal. The PMP is very complacent and they need to wake up. How many of you realize that 3 days after the general election, PICA, the system that operates passport election and everything, they said that it was hacked. Up until now, we don't hear who hacked it or how it hacked. And I asked the question, were any of those 15,000 to 30,000 illegal immigrants that were granted asylum in Jamaica, were they allowed to vote? There is a cloud, I'm going to repeat myself, there is a cloud that is hanging over Jamaica, and Jamaicans need to wake up. There is a lot that has happened in the past. As a young girl growing up in Jamaica, those of us who remember will know this, that Mr. Siaga vilified Michael Manley and called him a communist. But they did not tell the story that the same Edward Seaga had to turn around and apologize to Mr. Manley for that. And to this day, there are Jamaicans who still have the perception that Mr. Manley was a communist. There are Jamaicans who did not know the role that Michael Manley and Fidel Castro played in the ending of apartheid. There are Jamaicans who did not know that when South Africa wanted to bring apartheid to Angola, it was with the help of Fidel Castro's army and the Honorable Michael Manley that fought out the South African racist regime, why Angola did not become another apartheid state. So how then are you going to vilify these people who had the interests of the poor working class at heart? They took Edward Philip George Seaga and his government took civics for young Jamaicans out of school for a reason. Keep the children dumb. And this is why so many of our children are backward, because they don't know their rights. They don't know them rights under the Constitution. They don't know who they are. And I also blame the PMP, because for as long as the PMP has been in power, you all should have put the truth about the Right Honorable Michael Manley out there, so that his legacy could be one that was honored, instead of one that yesterday on his birthday some illiterate, undereducated mongrel is going to say that Manley was the one who married food. Really? How backward. How many Jamaicans are aware that it was under the JLP, the place where them now take and call Tivoli? That place was called Bakawal, a place where there was where there were PMP supporters. And what did Seaga do? They went in there, burned them out. Many died. Who remember what Buster did to the Rastaman them, bring them in dead or alive? So how can you support a political movement that is responsible for the genocide of poor black Jamaicans? And here we are again, because now they want the land that belongs to the Maroons. And those of you who know anything about Israel, the first thing you know that Israel is a very racist state. Yeah? The way they treat Africans is deplorable, right? So what kind of up could the prime minister of a country where the majority are Negroes have with the prime minister of a country that is racist against black people? Let it make sense. Those of you who know your history, you know what is in the cockpit country. Them teach we from where I go to school, who don't know we're in the cockpit country. When they think a really smart city them want build, they want the resources that are in the cockpit country for themselves. Jamaica has been sitting on a gold mine for years. And because some of those who we have chose to govern us are not interested in building the country and building the people, but filling them pocket, them sell out. Them sell out. And where Andrew Holness has taken Jamaica in an alliance with Israel, it is going to bring weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. Because when I say when the Maroon them rise up, because if Andrew Holness and the Israeli them feel to themselves say the Maroon them are going to sit down. And this is what I wonder how many of you realize how the Jamaican police are behaving. and getting away with the behavior. They are being trained. They are being programmed. And the worst thing that can happen is when your own force was supposed to protect you, turn around on the people. Jamaicans don't need to wake up. Jamaicans, you need to wake up. When the Honorable Michael Manley gave us free education, they never liked that. Because them prefer no say, we get a piece of bread and we name the pan it, and we name the bread and don't even realize that we name the pan it. And I am saying this again with no apology. The People's National Party has been too goddamn complacent in the sight of what is going on. It can't be that you not just get up. Dennis, it can't be just that the PMP just have to get up in the face of diversity and arrogance and walk out. No, walk out of Parliament. No, you are there on behalf of the people of Jamaica. A time for the PMP stand up. So that when a Butu like Juliet Holness believe that her power oversees and is above and beyond the Constitution, not put her in her place. Now is not the time for walking out. Now is the time to stand up for the people. The PMP can no longer afford to be complacent. Not in the eyes of what is going on. And it is disheartening to know 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 8 years after the Prime Minister made a visit to Jamaica, 8 years after, the PMP cannot get an answer about what the visit to Israel was about. We all should be scared. Because if the Prime Minister is going to say it is matters of national securities and he cannot divulge that, we should all be scared. What kind of national security argument you can enter with Israel that not even the People's National Party, the opposition, can know about it, and we all sit back and it is business as usual? No. What Hurricane Melissa has done is open up a crevice, some huge pothole where Jamaica inner, I don't even realize them inner. Where are all the hurricane supplies that have come into Jamaica? Where them there? Mr. Golden, no disrespect, but it is time for the PMP to wake up, sir. The PMP has been way too complacent in the face of the adversity of the Jamaica Labour Party, Andrew Holness, Juliet Holness, and all of the mafia them were in the party. We cannot sit down and allow the Jamaica Labour Party to take Jamaicans back to the days of Edward Philip George Seaga, which is exactly where we're heading, and worse. Exactly, Opal. When Warmington have to put Juliet Holness in our place, you know, and this is the thing. When you give power to people who do not understand the objective of the power that them have, what we have is a Butu sitting in the House of Parliament as Speaker, and another Butu, which is our husband, as Prime Minister. We need to wake up Jamaica, because what is coming is serious. Because if Andrew Holness feels in alliance with Israel and the training where the people that were supposed to protect Jamaica and get from the Israeli operatives were in Jamaica, him have another thing coming. And the sad part of this is because of his alliance with Israel, certain countries, excuse me, like this country, Canada, and other countries who were alliances with Jamaica have stepped back because they are upset. So if push should come to shove, where would it leave Jamaicans? Because how many Jamaicans can get up and go to the airport and take a flight elsewhere? Not too many can. Right? Not too many can. Big up yourself, Dwayne. Not too many can. And those of you, and I'm going to bring this into this because it is imperative that you people see what is going on. Right? How can there be charity laws that govern Jamaica that says specifically that if you are running a charity, you have to register that charity? How is it that Donna Marie Gow, when she was running her illegal charity, she could say the Prime Minister of Jamaica knows what I am doing? Anywhere I am going, the police in Jamaica have been authorized to take me where I'm going. You don't realize where I take place. Why is it that months after Andrew Holness was ushered in as Prime Minister, he pardoned the biggest Dan in a Mountain View when near Mikey 1-2? What was Donna Marie Gow's charity all about? Me tell you, say una need to wake up and see what is in front of una. Wake up and see what is in front of una. When that lady, Miss Richie, died, Donna Gow came out and Donna said the then mayor of Kingston was at Miss Richie's funeral. Miss Richie's night. And I said, no, sir. Where government member do this, sir? Only to find that it was true. So if the then mayor of Kingston was at Miss Richie's night, it stands to reason that the members of the government knows about the illegal charity that was being run in Mountain View. Ashanti 360 came out and said Donna Marie go buy guns and bullets for the gunman them in a Mountain View. We have seen it, we have heard it. What is the connection between the government and the charity that Donna Marie Gow was running at Mountain View, in Mountain View? All the signs are there, but too many of us refuse to, because when Ashanti said she was buying guns and bullets, he was not lying. He was not lying. Which other time we have guns and bullets enter Jamaica for them turn it upon the Jamaican them? During the era of Edward Philip George Seaga, it was under Spring Plains, his project, with the biggest mobster from Israeli known as Eli Tisonai, that saw guns, ammunition, and drugs entering into Jamaica. It was under that project the implementation of the shower posse began. On a need for wake up. On a need for go me talk it all the while. Go and educate yourself about Jamaica's political history, because the same political history that divided us and hurt us in the past is the same political history that is repeating itself in a more dangerous way. Because this time, and the Americans who have got to contend with, it is with the Israelis and those who know how the Israelis operate, especially when it comes to people with my skin color, your skin color. Then ask yourselves the question, why would the Prime Minister of a country where the majority of the people are Negroes have an alliance with the Prime Minister of a country that is predominantly racist? Guys, I will continue this conversation on Sunday, but like me say, on a need to start thinking, on a need to ask yourself, Why can't build the smart city somewhere else? Eh? Why can't build it somewhere else? Why does it have to be built in the parish of the cockpit country? Hmm? Hmm? Una think Chief Curry an idiot? Why una think Chief Curry decides say him no want nothing from the government? Because he knows what's going on. But at the time, diplomacy, he had to act like a diplomat. Una notice when the diplomacy is over, when come back out, come say? Hmm? And you Maroons, you Negroes, some of you undereducated Negroes, where una sell out because some of una will come talk about say, una no want Chief Curry lead una ray. Una are some drunk. Una some serious sellout of people like Uno and Negro like Uno why slavery exists because a four parents did in Africa did round up the weaker black people them, and when the white man come on sell them to the white man for rum and tobacco for continue a civil war in Africa that is going on up until today. Guys, I am going to continue this conversation on Sunday. But don't just take my word for what's going on. Uno go Google Eli Tisonai. Uno go research about the Prime Minister of Jamaica's visit to Israel and how him promised Netanyahu say go give asylum to over 300 Israelis that were in Jamaica. When did those Israelis reach into Jamaica? And then December of the same year, Bobby Montague said Jamaica got grant asylum to between 15,000 to 30,000 illegal immigrants. Where them come from? Because we can't say them are Asian. Where were they staying? Because I remember at a significant time, there were 3 Cubans who landed in Jamaica. You know where them put them 3 Cubans in a central lockup. Them put them in a central lockup. And it was this gentleman who did have this nightclub over Portmore. Some of you might remember his name. I can't remember his name now. And he was the one that vouched for them after years, and they were able to go work for him in a business over Portmore. History has a funny way of repeating itself, Charmian. Amen, my sister. And you know what the sad part is? A lot of us don't learn. Guys, I will continue this conversation on Sunday. Go do your own research, you hear? But there's a cloud that is hanging over Jamaica, and what Hurricane Melissa has done, Hurricane Melissa has showed not only the underbelly of the government, but the underbelly of the plans of the government and how the government of Jamaica really feels about poor and disenfranchised Jamaicans, yeah? Because if I never for the volunteer them at Jamaica and the one them will go in a Jamaica from foreign, more Jamaicans would have died. They would have died from hunger. More disease would have been upon the land. Thank God for the volunteers that left their countries and decided to go to Jamaica and assist. Thank God for the volunteers in Jamaica who decided to reach out to their own people. People like Andre Stevens and others. Because were it not for them, the situation would have been worse. Guys, again, on a need for wake up. The information is there. It might have been scraped clean from the Jamaican archives, but if you dig deep enough, you will find it. Have a blessed night, and I will continue this conversation on Sunday. Bless upon yourself, my people.